Chapter 9 is going to look at charts and also comments and analysis, horizontal, vertical analysis, trying to see what information we can glean from the reports that we already have. We're going to start from a file that's already created for you. And this file can be found either in your downloads when you downloaded your student files or from the Canvas in the lesson area. And we're looking for EA9D1. So we're going to open this one, and what we see as soon as we open it is the comparative income statement, which is shown in the horizontal analysis. We also have a vertical analysis tab, which gives us a common size balance sheet. And we're going to be working with multiple tabs for this chapter as well. So on the horizontal analysis tab, we're going to cell K8, and K8 wants to know the dollar change between 2007 and 2018. So we're going to have equals G8, which is 2018, minus I8, which is 2017. And you're going to press enter. We're going to go to cell M8, and M8 wants to know the percent change. So we're going to take equals K8 because that's our change, and divide that by I8 because that's our base number, and press enter, and we get our percent change. So we're going to click on K8, drag it over to M8, and we're going to copy this. And then we're going to highlight K9 to M10, hold down the control key and highlight K12 to M20. And in our paste button over here, we're going to click on the arrow and choose in this top section, there's one that says formulas and number formatting. So we're going to choose that one because that's what we wanted to paste, both the formulas and the formats of the numbers. We're going to come over here and we're going to grab C12 down to C19. Hold down your control key and click on K12 down to K19. So both are selected. And up at the top of your screen, we're going to go to Insert. In the Chart section, we're going to insert a column or bar chart. We're going for a clustered column. So we're going to click on Insert Column Chart. And the very first one says Clustered Column. So we're going to click on that one. And it kind of drops our chart in the middle, so we're going to drag it up here on the right-hand side so it's not just sitting in the middle there. We're going to take this bottom out a little bit so it just goes to the edge of the V column. Once we created this chart, you'll see we have two new tabs up here. We have a Design tab and a Format tab. We're going to the Design tab in the Data section, and we're going to go to Select Data. When we selected that data, we selected total expenses. Oh my goodness, for that one I selected net income as well. So we are actually going to just select that part of our data and this part of our data. So we only want, oh, I forgot to hold down my control key, C12 to C18 and K12 to K18. We don't want the total expenses or the net income. So click OK. And now our chart is starting to make a little more sense. Right here, there's a plus button, and what this does when we click on it is it brings up a list of chart elements that we can take in and take out. So we're going to add in a chart title. So put a check mark next to the word chart title. And up here, we're going to change this to say expense change. And we're going to click outside of that. So we've created a basic chart here. Now we're going to go over here to the vertical analysis. We're going to come back to that tab in a little bit. But we're going to kind of do pretty much the similar thing here in our vertical analysis. We're going to click on K8 and type in equals G8 divided by, $G, $13. Because we want to know the percentage change for 2018, what percent of our total assets were cash. So we press enter. And then this is going to be the same, but for 2017. Now, I've talked before about leaving blank columns and rows places. They do it for a spacing issue. Here's why in Excel, while it looks good, it doesn't always work. Because we could just fill this equation over. However, now it's pulling from H instead of I. So then we have to go in and change the letters. We want this to pull from I, okay, instead of H and G. If that H wasn't in there, then that equation pull would have worked a whole lot better. So we're going to grab K8 to L8 and copy it. And we're going to select K9 to L13. And again, we're going to choose that paste formulas and number formatting. Okay. K15 is going to say equals G15 divided by $G, $18, because we want it to always pull from that total. So we want to know how much of our total liabilities and owner's equity do our liabilities make up. Press enter. I'm just going to click and drag it and then just change these to I's. You can do that however you'd like. Again, we're going to click and drag over these, copy them, come down here to K17 to L18 and paste them. Now, this I thought was pretty cool. I didn't know that this did this until I went through these steps. If you click on K8 and drag to K13, okay? Again, we grabbed our total assets in this. We're going to take it out in a little bit. Push the F11 key on your keyboard. It automatically creates a new chart in its own page, which I thought was pretty cool. I knew we could create charts in a new page, but I didn't know the F11 key would do it for us. We're going to rename this chart Asset Chart 2018. Okay. Up here again, we have our new Chart Tools tab. So we're going to go to Design, Data, Select Data, and this is where we're going to take that out. We're going to choose C8 to C13. Hold down your Control key, K8 to K13, and then click OK. And we have this chart here. Right here where it says chart title, we're going to change this chart title to say Asset Percentages 2018. Whoops. Okay. Flipping over to page 271 in your textbook. We're going to continue to format this chart. So we're going to go right here on our Chart Tools Design tab. It says Change Chart Type. And we're going to choose the all chart tabs if you need to. And we're going to pick a pie chart. We're actually going to choose the second one here. It says 3D pie. And then click OK. So we now have a 3D pie chart. We're going to go back into this data section and go to select data. We talked about not including totals, and that's exactly what we did. So we're going to go in here and take this out. And you can click and drag to re-highlight them, or you could just change those 13s to 12s and click OK. It'll do the same thing. So that removed the total assets from our chart. Going back to this plus sign where our chart elements are, we're going to add a legend. And then if we come over here to this arrow, we want to tell it to put the legend at the bottom. We're also going to add data labels, and we want those to go on the outside ends. Okay. You should have this box over here. Okay, and as you click on different places, you should have this, the wording at the top will change. We want to click on the outside of the chart area. If you don't have this box, if you double click on this, this should appear on your screen. We're going to go here under Chart Options, okay? And we want the Effects button. So we're going to put our click there and go to 3D Rotation. Right here where it says Y rotation, we're going to change that to 30 so we can make the pie chart kind of tilt a little bit better. We're going to double click the chart title because we want to change this up a little bit. We're going to pick fill in line, and then we're going to go to fill and choose solid fill. And then they want us to pick green. Okay. Step 30 on page 272 tells me to grab the land piece of pie and drag it out away from the pie chart. So I have to use our legend down here. Land is this light orange, almost yellow. Click on it and, whoops, that was not supposed to happen. I'm going to put all my pies back to where they belong. If you click on just that orange piece and drag it out, that's what we want, just the orange piece to come out. So you have to double click on that before you drag it. Okay, pop back to your horizontal analysis chart. Click on your expense change chart, and we're going to change this chart type. So again, design tab, change chart type. We're going to make it a line chart. And we want this one right here. It says line with markers. Go ahead and click on that and click OK. So now we have the dots at the tops and bottoms wherever our chart stops. We're going to change it again. This time we're going for a bar chart. We're just going to grab that first one and click OK. So you can see what the same data would look like in a bar format. We're going to go back to this plus sign where it says add chart elements, and we're going to grab grid lines, and then we're going to click on this arrow, and we want primary, major, vertical. Oh, we already have a check mark in there, so if you don't have the check mark in there, go ahead and put it in there. Oh, actually it wants us to take it out, so we want those to go away. The next thing we're going to look at are things called sparklines. Okay, so looking at the expense change chart, I'm now on page 274. We're going to change the chart style. So right here on our design tab, there's a chart styles area. If we click this down arrow right here, it gives us some more options for chart styles, and it wants us to choose style 12. And if you put your mouse on it, it says style 12 right on it. We're also going to come over here to where it says quick layout, and we can choose different layouts for our chart and how we want it to look. So we're going to click on layout 5. Again, you put your mouse on them, it tells you which one it is. Now let's say we choose that layout. Instead of having to pick a different one, we can just click undo, which will take it right back to where it was before. Go ahead and come down here at the bottom, switch to Asset Chart 2018. And we're going to change the layout of this one to layout number 1. We're going to change the style to style number 3, which kind of gives it a little more professional look. Okay. On the top right hand corner, we've been looking at the plus sign. We're now going to look at this chart filter. If we click on the filter, here we can remove things from our chart. Now keep in mind that when you create charts for a business, you want them to look as truthful and as informative as possible. Go ahead and click on the check mark next to cash and look at your chart once you do that. Click apply. And you'll see we took cash out, so now it looks like land takes up most of our assets. As soon as we put cash back in and click apply, then we can see that cash takes up most of our assets. So keep in mind as you're taking those out for various reports that you're not showing information that isn't correct. Switch over to the vertical analysis tab, and we're going to highlight N8, oops, wrong one, N8 to N12. And we're going to insert some sparklines here. So come up here to where it says insert, and it says sparklines right here on the right hand side. And we're just going to pick the line one. The data is going to come from K8 to L12. So these numbers that we calculated, click those and then click OK. So what this does is it kind of gives us a trend line. It tells us whether or not our numbers between those 2 years have increased or decreased based on just looking at a line real quick. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for N17. Actually, we'll do the same thing for N15. Let's do that one first. Insert a line, and we want the data in K and L, and click OK. And then do the exact same thing. Insert line, and we want the data for K and L, and click OK. Okay. So now we have these spark lines, but they're kind of outside of our outside border here. So we're going to choose all of N. So from N2 down to N19, and go to your border button and take out the border. So say no border. And then you're going to click and drag from B2 to N19, and then put your outside border on it, just so that border goes all the way around and includes those spark lines. We're going to go to cell N6 and type in Sparkline Trends. And you'll notice when we type it in, it doesn't look like the rest. So your book tells you to apply bold, center, and text wrapping, or you can just click on the 2017 percentage, click Format Painter, and click on Sparkline Trends. Okay, because we're just copying the format over. Now, the next section that we're going to work on is working with comments. We can add comments to an Excel spreadsheet so that whoever's looking at it can see kind of what we were thinking when we were looking at it as well. First, we're going to start with a new tab. So come down here and create a new sheet, and we're going to rename this sheet Ratio Analysis. We're going to go to cell B1 and type in 2018. In cell C1, we're going to type in 2017. Okay. Click and drag B1 and C1 to select them both, and drag that fill handle in the bottom right hand corner over to F1. So that should automatically populate the years going backwards from 18 to 14. While these are still selected, we're going to center them in bold since they are headings. And we're also going to give them a bottom border. So click the borders button and throw on a bottom border. I'm going to go to A2 and type in current ratio. A3 is debt ratio, and A4 is profit margin. Okay, we're going to take those three cells we just typed in, and we're going to make them bold. And we're going to make this column 12 to make those words fit. Going to cell B2. Now, this is where we're going to switch from one sheet to another. We're going to create equations using information on a different sheet than the one we're looking at. So every equation starts with the equal sign. We're going to put in an open parenthesis. Using your mouse, you're going to click on Vertical Analysis, and then click cell G8, which is your cash. Put in a plus sign. Click cell G9, put in a plus sign, click cell G10. I think you're seeing a trend here. Type in your ending parenthesis, divided by G15. Okay, so we're looking at a current analysis. So we're taking our current assets, adding them together, and dividing it by our current liabilities. Press enter on your keyboard, and you'll see that it has automatically given you the answer on your ratio analysis sheet. So again, this is one of those situations. If you click back on your vertical analysis tab, we have these extra columns in between. This is another one of those situations where we can click and drag this, but it's going to give us an error message because it's automatically pulling from the column next to it, which in our case is empty because they're using it as a spacer. Okay, so this is one of those situations that if you're doing a lot of math, you may not want to use those spacers. So all I did was I clicked and dragged my fill handle over and then went through and changed all those H's to I's as opposed to re-clicking and retyping all of that. We're going to go to cell B3. We're looking to create the debt ratio. So equals, click on the vertical analysis tab and go to cell G15. We're going to divide that by G13. Press enter, and it gives us our debt ratio. Again, I'm just going to click and drag this over and then change those H's to I's. In cell B4, we're going to type in our equal sign. This one we need our horizontal analysis, and if you look down at the bottom of my screen, I can't see it. So I can use this arrow to bring it up on my screen. Horizontal analysis, cell G20. G20, let me pull this over here, is my net income divided by G10, which is my total revenue. Press enter. So to find my profit margin, I just took my net income divided by my total revenue. Do the same thing for 17, so click and drag that over. Click on cell C4 and change those G's to I's. Okay, so from B2 all the way over to F4, they want us to make this a comma style, so click on the comma. Oh, that was only supposed to be the top one. Grab B4 to F4. This one's supposed to be percent, not comma. And then they also want us to increase the decimal, so it has that one decimal place in it. Okay, the rest of this data we're going to enter by hands. Bottom of page 277, top of 278, step 66, 67, and 68 gives us the data to put in here. So go ahead and take a minute and type all that in. Once you have that in, we're going to go to G2 to G4, and we're going to go to Insert Sparklines. And this time we're going to put in column sparklines. And our data range is B2 to F4. Okay, once you have that in there, click OK. And this time it makes like a mini column chart, which I think is actually pretty cool there. You can see that that current ratio is a lot different than the other two. Okay, so this is where comments might come in handy. Go to cell B2, and we're wondering why there was such a spike here in the middle. So we're going to come up here to the Review tab and put in a new comment. And our new comment is going to say, investigate this increase. Okay, you can click anywhere outside that comment and it's going to disappear. If you put your mouse there, it's going to reappear. We're also going to go to cell G4 and put in another new comment. And we're going to ask, is this trend sustainable? Can we continue to make this type of money? So now we're going to click off of that, and that one's going to disappear. If I come up here and click on Review and click Next, it's going to show me the first comment. Click Next, it shows me the next one. And click Next, and it tells me you are done. Go ahead and click OK. It'll take us back to the first one. If we choose the word Show High Comment here, okay, it's going to show us the comment and it's going to stay there as opposed to disappearing. If we click Show All Comments, then they're both going to stay there. Go ahead and click on Show All Comments again to make them go away. Make sure you've clicked on cell D2, and we're going to come up here and click on Edit Comment. Press enter twice and we're going to make this bold. Update. Press enter and turn the bold off, and I just did the Control B on my keyboard to do that. Year-end cash balance was unusually high. Now as you can see, part of our comment disappeared, so we can grab the bottom right corner of this and make it bigger so we can see it. Okay. If we click any cell, then that comment should disappear for us. And that covers chapter 9. So you can go ahead and work on your assignments and have a great week.